Students, welcome you all to my YouTube channel Pradeep's EVM. In this session, I will discuss about the last minute approach to score more than 90% in English language and literature, that is code 184. So students, February 26 is the day when you all will have English. Now hardly 23 days remains. I'm sure that you are doing well. However, this video will help you managing your weaknesses and make you confident to get more than 90%. So, while late, please like, share, comment and yes, subscribe. Before I begin the actual approach, how to get more than 90% in your board exam, I just want to refresh your mind with your syllabus and blueprint. So let me tell you students your syllabus first. You have two books, one is First Flight and the other one is Footprints Without Feet. So in First Flight, under prose section, you have A Letter to God, Nelson Mandela Long Walk to Freedom, two stories about flying, From the Diary of Anne Frank, The 100 Dresses Part 1 and Part 2, Glimpses of India, Misville the Otter, Madam Rides the Bus, The Sermon at Benares, The Proposal. Under poetry section, you have Dust of Snow, Fire and Ice, A Tiger in the Zoo, How to Tell Wild Animals, The Ball Poem, Amanda, Animals, The Trees, Fog, The Tale of Custard the Dragon for Anne Gregory. And the other book, that is Footprints Without Feet, you have A Triumph of Surgery, The Thief's Story, The Midnight Visitor, A Question of Trust, Footprints Without Feet, The Making of a Scientist, The Necklace, The Hack Driver, Bowley, and finally you have the book that saved the earth. So students, now moving on to the blueprint of your question paper. The question paper, as you know, it carries 80 marks and it comprises of three sections. One is reading comprehension, the other one is writing skill and grammar, and the final section is literature section. Friends, reading comprehension carries 20 marks, out of which you will get 4 multiple choice questions, 8 objective type questions, and you will get 4 2 marks questions. In this way, reading section carries 20 marks. Under writing skill and grammar, you will get 12 marks of grammar and you will get one 8 marks question and one 10 marks question. And under literature section, you will have 4 objective type questions, 5 2 marks type of questions, 2 8 marks questions. In this way, literature section carries 30 marks. Now students, let's begin with the actual approach. So question number 1 and 2, that is your comprehension passages, how to deal with it, how to get full marks, that is 20 out of 20. So the general practice among the students, they read questions first, then they read the passage. Of course, in this way also the questions can be answered. Another practice is that picking those lines directly from the passage which suits the question. But sometimes your answer may not be right. However, for greater relevance of your answer, it is my personal opinion that you should first read the passage, then go to the questions. Students, the type of passages that come in the board exam requires at least 2 rounds of reading. After that, you will be in a position to answer any question provided you understood the passage. Nevertheless, sometimes due to our lackadaisical approach while reading a comprehension passage, we end up writing irrelevant answers. Therefore, keep it in mind that you are reading a passage for getting full marks, so a bit of concentration and presence of mind is highly necessary. So please chant the mantra while attempting comprehension passage. that is read, question, answer first round, question, read, answer second round. Students, another important part of comprehension passage is vocabulary based questions. If someone loses marks, that is due to wrong responses or attempts to vocabulary based questions. So you need to be very careful. If you want to score full marks in reading section, vocabulary based questions are set in such a manner that the answer lie in the passage itself. So think reasonably to get right answers. That's it for reading section. If you follow all these tips, then nobody can stop you from getting 20 out of 20. Moving on to next question, that is question number 3 is letter writing, and in its option you will get article writing. As far as letter writing is concerned, you may be asked to write a business letter or a letter of complaint or a letter to editor. Now the question is how to get full marks in letter writing. Before I tell you how to get full marks, let me tell you the marking scheme of letter writing. Students, letter writing is for 8 marks. These 8 marks are further distributed as format 1 mark, content 4 marks and expression 3 marks. If you write proper format, sender's address, date, receiver's address, subject or heading, salutation, closing, etc., you will get 1 mark. Under content, you need to focus on the subject matter of the letter being asked. If you are writing a letter of inquiry or placing an order, then please state who you are. Why are you writing? What you want? Quantity, discount, etc. I would advise you to go through any one of the refreshers available in the market. If you are writing a letter to the editor, then kindly write through the columns of your esteemed daily. I would like to highlight in case of highlighting an issue, or I would like to bring attention of the concerned authorities. Then briefly state the issue or problem, followed by its implications. Sometimes you will be asked to put forth your suggestions also. Therefore, you need to write suggestions to solve the problem or issue. However, generally, whenever we write a letter to the editor, we end it with suggestions. So, I would advise you to write suggestions no matter asked in the question or not. End the letter with a thank you. The other part of letter writing is expression. Expression means coherence, relevance of ideas, accuracy, appropriate words and correct spelling. Students, always keep in mind that you are making no grammatical mistakes, no spelling mistakes, keeping the ideas and thoughts of the letter relevant, because this is where the evaluator could deduct your marks citing these reasons. So, as far as possible, try using simple and lucid language. Present your ideas clearly, no complications in your presentation. At last, write legibly. So, students, letter writing means you have to understand and keep it in mind format, content and expression. The other option of question number 3 is article writing for 8 marks. Format 1, where you have to write your title and name of the writer. Content 4 marks, expression 3 marks. Students, any article under the sky will have causes and consequences or merits and demerits. However, sometimes simply highlighting the issue. So, in these 3 types, one thing is common, that is introduction. An article can be started with a wonderful quote. The quote may be given by an author or can be your own thought, which must be relevant to the topic of article. After winning a quote, briefly write about the topic, followed by causes and consequences or merits and demerits, whichever is applicable to the topic. And finally, end the article with your constructive suggestions. Whereas, what you need to remember while writing an article is to follow the sequence or an order. That is, introduction, causes and consequences or merits and demerits, and suggestions, etc. Ideally, an article may be written in about 3 to 4 paragraphs. Use connecting words like however, moreover, further, whereas, also, to, furthermore, etc. to keep your thoughts flow and connected. Do not deviate from the topic. Don't write irrelevant stuff. Try not to make spelling and grammatical error. Present in a clear manner. Impress the examiner. You may underline value points of the article which will grab the attention of the evaluator. That's it. You will get full marks. Students, the next important question is story writing, which is for 10 marks. Title and moral 1 mark, content 4 marks, and expression 5 marks. Students, you need to understand how to write a story. To start with, give an attractive title precisely. It should not be too lengthy. Organize your content properly. Always maintain flow of thought. Keep your story relevant to the hints given. Avoid grammatical mistakes and spelling mistakes, etc. So the question is what to organize. What are the parts of a good story? A good story always contains beginning, character introduction, plot, and conclusion. This is the order in which you have to present your story. Now let me tell you what CBSE asks. Question number 4 will have 2 stories with internal choice. You may prefer to write any one, whichever is comfortable to you. It happens that you will be asked to write a story using the given beginning or using hints of the whole story. So, when you choose to write a story with a given beginning, then you need to think about a proper introduction of characters, a good plot, and a good finishing. In this way, what happens? That you need to think the whole story before presenting. The advantage is that you may end the story the way you like. Your story could be anything that it could lead to any conclusion. I mean to say that you have all the freedom to write the story the way you want. You can end the way you want. However, sometimes the students involve themselves in the process of writing a story so much that they go on writing and they end up with no proper ending. Therefore, you really need to have control over your story and give a proper ending. On the other hand, you will be given hints of the whole story. In this case, everything is predefined. Introduction is given, characters are introduced, plot is given, of course, ending also evident. Students, if you attempt this question, what you all need to do is first read the hints. After reading, you will understand what the story is. Accordingly, you organize your thoughts and present it beautifully, minimizing all the mistakes as I said earlier. Sometimes it is seen that students write very less in quantity for 10 marks. This is because you don't elaborate hints and you end up writing very precisely. But when hints of the whole story are given, the examiner will look your creativity in the story, what you have incorporated and how you have presented the story apart from the hints. Students, now moving on to question number 5 and 6, which deals with gap filling with correct option and error correction or missing word, and to find out its word after and word before respectively. Most of the time it happens that you get easy questions which requires your presence of mind with a bit of logic. You need not to be a grammarian to solve these questions. However, I believe that throughout your academic year, you must have come across the type of questions that you have already got in your exams. Let me refresh your minds that what actually you get in the exam. Kindly check for these elements in your question if you are present or missing. In gap filling, read the question at least twice and try to figure out if any preposition, articles, use of proper pronouns, verb in the right tense is used or not. Now let me also tell you how to identify if the verb is in the right tense or not. It's so simple. Check if the paragraph speaks about a fact or truth or some past incident. On the basis of it, if the paragraph is a fact, then blindly use simple present tense, and if the paragraph speaks of any past incident, then use simple past tense. However, sometimes it's mixed and you need to be careful what the paragraph speaks, and accordingly you need to use the tense. I may ask you to look for the same elements like prepositions, articles, use of proper pronouns, verb in the right tense while solving question number 6 also. More or less, you may solve question number 6 in the same way of question number 5. Students, now moving on to question number 7, that is all about rearranging the jumbled words into right sentences. You will get 4 sentences. Students, sometimes all the 4 sentences will be based upon a single theme. In that case, one cannot follow the rules of sentence formation, that is subject plus verb plus object. The first sentence may follow this rule and the rest depends on the first sentence as per the theme. The other type of jumbled words is 4 different sentences based on different themes. In this, you may follow the rules of sentence formation depending on the type of sentence. For simple sentences, subject plus verb plus object. For interrogative sentences, any auxiliary verb plus subject plus verb plus object. Section C is all about literature, which I believe you must have read all the year. Students, I would advise you to go through both the textbooks. Try to remember the title of the poems and the poets. Question number 8 will be on an extract from a poem and a lesson with internal choice. So you may attempt whatever you feel confident. While revising, make note of the poetic devices used in the poem. Short answer type questions should be answered properly, keeping in view the demands of the question. Generally, it is to be answered in 30 to 40 words. However, you may elaborate a bit more if you can manage time. Don't write irrelevant stuff. Don't write too lengthy. There will be 2 long answer type questions which carry 8 marks each. It happens that one question will be very direct, so you should write it explaining every part of the question. Remember to write at least a page, but no trash. The other question will be a value-based one, which you need to write keeping in view the story with its value facets. Sometimes the students tend to write the story only, but they do not touch the value aspects of the question. In fact, you may not get full marks. So students, before attempting value-based question, please keep in mind that you have to mix your answer with both story in context and value aspect. So this is what I try to put before you, the approaches, although you are very familiar with it. But let me tell you a few more things what you have to do on 26 Feb 2020. As soon as you get the question paper, kindly read it thoroughly. Use your reading time of 15 minutes to the fullest. Don't write till you are asked to do so. A well beginning is half done. Students, I reiterate, use your 15 minutes of reading time judiciously without wasting it. Read the question and try to understand what the demand of the question is. Once you understand the question, yes, no one can stop you from getting good marks. But if you feel that there are some questions which you do not know, no need to panic, no need to feel depressed. You start writing whatever you know. In course of time, the other answers will also you can write. With this, I conclude this video. Wish you good luck and God bless you.